Picture this. A vast, sprawling landfill, teeming with the discarded remnants of modern life. Now imagine somewhere in that mountain of trash lies a hard drive containing a king's ransom in Bitcoin. This isn't the plot of a cheesy adventure movie, folks. This is the real-life predicament of one James Howells, a Welsh IT worker who's about as lucky as a screen door on a submarine. You see, back in 2013, Bitcoin was just starting to gain traction. It was like the awkward kid in school that nobody paid much attention to, except for a few tech-savvy geeks. James was one of those geeks, and he managed to mine a whopping 7,500 Bitcoins. For those keeping score at home, that's like stumbling upon a winning lottery ticket, except you accidentally used it to mop up a coffee stain, because that's essentially what James did. In a moment of monumental misfortune, he tossed out the hard drive containing his Bitcoin fortune, mistaking it for a piece of digital detritus. Now, I'm no computer whiz, but even I know that deleting a file and chucking your hard drive in the bin are two very different things. Unfortunately for James, he didn't realize the gravity of his mistake until it was far too late. The hard drive, along with his dreams of Bitcoin billions, was buried deep within the bowels of a Newport landfill. And that, my friends, is where our story truly begins. Now you might be thinking, well, can't he just dig it up? If only it were that simple. See, this isn't some quaint little backyard compost heap we're talking about. This landfill is a sprawling testament to consumerism, covering an area roughly the size of a small country. Or at least that's how it feels to poor James. To make matters worse, the landfill is due to be capped and sealed in the very near future, essentially encasing James's lost fortune in a concrete sarcophagus. It's a race against time, and the clock is ticking louder than a metronome in a silent room. But here's the real kicker. Those 7,500 Bitcoins that James carelessly discarded, they're now worth an estimated £600 million. That's right, folks. Enough to make Scrooge McDuck jealous. We're talking private jets, solid gold yachts, and enough champagne to fill an Olympic-sized swimming pool. And all of that is tantalizingly out of reach, buried beneath tons of rotting garbage. It's enough to make you want to grab a shovel and a gas mask and head straight to Newport. Naturally, James isn't giving up without a fight. He spent the better part of a decade trying to convince the Newport City Council to let him excavate the landfill. He's even offered them a cut of the treasure because, well, who wouldn't want a few million quid just lying around? But alas, the council has remained steadfast in their refusal. They claim that digging up the landfill would pose a significant environmental risk, and that there's no guarantee they'd even find the hard drive. And so, James took his case to court, hoping that a judge would see the merit in his plight. However, the judge, in his infinite wisdom, ruled against James. He argued that the council had no obligation to allow the excavation, and that James should have been more careful with his digital assets. Ouch, that's gotta sting. So, there you have it. The tragic tale of James Howells, the man who lost a fortune in Bitcoin because he couldn't be bothered to check his trash. It's a story that's both hilarious and heartbreaking. A cautionary tale about the perils of digital currencies and the importance of backing up your data. Because let's be honest, we've all been there. We've all deleted a file or lost a document that we thought was gone forever. But for most of us, the stakes aren't quite as high as £600 million. James's story is a stark reminder that in the digital age, our fortunes can vanish as quickly as they're made. It's a reminder to be vigilant, to be organized, and to maybe think twice before throwing out that dusty old hard drive. You never know, it might just contain the keys to your very own Bitcoin kingdom. But if it does, for heaven's sake, try not to bury it in a landfill.